next level disclosure, but in time they will. And right when I was informed to publish the book, that's when they said, all right, it's time for you to come out. People are ready. And lo and behold, it's like I'm reaching so many people. People are thanking me. People are like, whoa, you filled in a lot of the blanks for me. You put things into perspective like I've never heard before. And you explain it so well in other dimensions, so on and so forth. And to me, that was just, it was all about the right timing. It was all,
Hmm.
I mean,
Even for me, when I first heard your video, the very first one I heard, I knew right away there was something like it clicked, and all of this information just made more sense to me. And I know a lot of people have been out there talking about some of the things you talk about, not always in the exact same way, but some of that information was out there for a really long time. But the way it was presented just wasn't resonating with me. And then right away, as soon as I heard you talk, I was like, okay, this guy's got somehow some with the off-world entities, energies, and a way to communicate that for humans. And in a reading I did early on, and a lot of people will remember this, in the tarot on the Tarot by Janine channel, I got that this fellow, so I get this as you, Ishmael. So this King of Swords was going to come and really relate in a way things that really help us understand what happens in all the multi-universe. And I don't know if I say the words right, but to me, it's such a big mystery. I'm more of an earth energy. I feel really grounded, earthy, and I have a lot of earth in my birth chart. But that someone was going to come along and really be almost like a go-between for the off-world entities to really talk through, almost like a galactic, what sort of a royalty in a way. It felt like a royalty, or someone who is just so well versed in what's going on over there. So just a part of their world, and also have a foot in the on the earth plane, and then be able to explain it to us earthlings. I feel like that's you. Right away when I met you on, I mean, of course, I haven't met you in person, but online, I just had this feeling that must have been you. How do you feel about that? Does that make any sense to you?
yes, it does. It actually resonates because I was informed by the higher intelligences that I've been, downloading information from that I would be some sort of a liaison, a ambassador to the Earth, representing the galactic and cosmic community. When the time was right, that my information and my presence would come into the limelight, and they were correct. They were absolutely correct. And it's funny because 6 months prior to I say going back to like January, February, prior to me really coming out into the scene. I mean, I was still active on Instagram for maybe 2 years, building a following, but not really reaching as many people. I was informed. I got a download saying, Ishmael, you're going to be very busy in the next 3 months. Something's going to happen. You're just going to blow up everywhere. And then when I received that download, I was like, all right, I got to prepare myself mentally and emotionally, because I understand that I'm going to be extremely busy after this thing,
Yeah.
after this receiving this, I guess, prophetic warning. I was told
Yeah.
to just prepare myself mentally for what was going to come. They were informing me that not only was I going to reach many people, but I was also going to trigger some. And these are the people, certain individuals out there that, are kind of hating on me and stuff, and saying bad things about me. But they told me, don't worry about those people. That happens to everyone. Every time somebody comes into the limelight, there's always an antagonist. There's always some sort of there's people that either envy you, or people that
Yeah.
just they just don't resonate with you, and they'll do everything in their power to try to bring you
Yeah.
down. And they told me, don't even worry about that. Everybody gets that. And I was like, okay, of course, no problem. So I was kind of prepped mentally before it happened.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been getting them coming after me also, Ishmael. And to me, it's like, wow, I must be really popular because they're wasting hours putting together, looking through all my old videos and putting together little tiny pieces to make a storyline, their own storyline. So it seems to me it's really just like out of jealousy. It could even be out of unhealed energy. Like I did readings around the person doing that for me, and it felt like past life, literally a past life enemy. I'm not taking them personally. It's like, whatever, they're not touching me. People that
Yeah,
know, they just know,
exactly.
you
And
know.
and it's like, why give your energy? When we react, we give our power away. So I just ignore it. It doesn't even face me. You
Yeah.
know, let the haters be haters. They're
Yeah.
just all they're doing is it's a reflection of their inner unhealed wounds, like you said. And
Exactly.
to me, it's all about being the better person.
Mhm.
Always shining the light.
Exactly. Yeah. And we don't want to get pulled down into that. So let us know what you have going on. What can people sign up for classes still? How are things going? Do you have a website? What can you share with us?
Well, I share a website collectively with my, I guess, instructors in the Mystic Arts, my colleagues. It's called themysticarts.org, and
Okay.
that's where people can sign up to teach, to access my class and my course that I teach called Starseed Cosmology course. And I do have a few spots available for the December class, just a
Okay.
very few. So if you, I know it's about 3 months from now, but it's worth it. The faster you get this information, the faster your activation. That's just the way I see it. Because many people that are already taking my class and have taken my class since I started back in June have been giving me so much positive feedback about how it's helped them understand life better. It's helped them actually realize who they were, their mission, their purpose. And in
Mhm.
some cases, some people have even told me that they've been activated, that they're actually now getting downloads and they're in touch with their spirit guides and their intuition has enhanced. And to me, that is like a blessing, to know that I'm helping others activate as well.
Oh, yeah. I would agree that it is time and timely for that kind of thing. Everybody needs to really open up to their true potential. It's like, I feel like upgrades have been happening.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big time.
Ashley and I, the one I do the deep dive Fridays with, her and I went on a road trip recently, and we literally felt like her eyesight upgraded, her hearing and sense of smell upgraded. Both of us felt those things. And also my driving skills, which sounds weird, but I'm 61 and I can be a nervous Nelly driver, especially at night. And I felt like I was upgraded. I was fearless and not being reckless, but absolutely knowing my capabilities on the road, and my vehicle it felt like a whole different sort of energy. Does that make any sense to what might be happening for humans right now?
Absolutely, yes. At the cellular level of our, I guess, DNA level of reality, it's all changing. New codons are activating, new strands are coming online. I think by now most of us already have the third, fourth, and fifth strands activated, which
Wow.
explains the enhanced perception, the enhanced level of intuition, and clairvoyancy and all that stuff. That's all enhancing right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the beginning. I mean, once we activate the other dormant DNA, we're going to be like a whole new different creation, whole new
Mm-hmm.
different species. Yeah, advanced species.
Now, would that just be star seeds having this, or just it could be everybody if you're just aware or awake?
Well, the star seeds are going to be the ones that are going to access the superhuman powers and abilities, like the ability to perform telekinesis, the ability to control the elements with their mind, the ability to transfer their thoughts, to bilocate, to be in multiple places at the same time. Among other powers, but the newbie souls are going to be upgrading in increments. So we're going to have different types of upgrades. Not everybody's going to the same upgrade, depending on how old your soul is, how much experience you had in the multiverse, because many of us have had billions of years of experience, which are really the oldest of souls. Those are the ones that are going to go into using 100% of their full genetic material.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's going to be increments underneath those. And then the newbie souls, which consist of the majority of Earth, indigenous, I guess, Earth, what we call Earth Terrans in the galactic community, they're going to go up in increments. They're going to go up in increments, and that's probably going to, and that's just the way it is, because they're still new. They're still going to have to learn how to use these abilities, and
Mm-hmm.
the instructors in once we enter this new world in the fifth dimensional Earth or the age of Aquarius, the star seeds are going to be the instructors in a sense, where all the academies in schools of the mystery schools of ancient times are going to be re-emerging, and so all that stuff is going to come back. The temples, the
Oh,
pyramids, everything's coming back.
wow. I
Amazing.
can't wait.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that there's the pushback is almost going back to like the dark ages where we're being called out as witches and warlocks, and not yourself maybe, but they're definitely coming after me in that way. And it's such a really like almost like the burning times all over again, like the witch burning times. It's like the last push of that kind of that was the way they dominated over the kind of intelligence that tarot cards bring, and astrology and numerology. Like they had to call it evil, and that's all they got, right? It's like, oh, it's like evil. Okay.
And then
Interesting.
what people fail to understand is that even Jesus and Mary Magdalene were alchemists. They understood numerology. They understood astrology.
Mhm.
They were healers. They understood the mystic arts, and they were masters of the mystic arts. And that's going to be a huge shocker when all this information comes out that even Jesus himself was a master alchemist,
Mhm.
magician, light healer, whatever you want to call
Yeah, I believe it. He came to me once, it was years ago, and I'm not like I don't go along with organized religion, but you don't need to. I mean, organized religion, I think, was created by the cabal, really,
it. Absolutely.
or all kinds of baddies, but in particular the cabal to keep repress information and keep people fearful. But Jesus actually showed up to me and it was a really amazing energy and experience. And I knew right away he'd been married, had children, like the whole story about, like, it just everything clicked in. It was like I picked up on, as if I was reading him or he was allowing me to read his real life story. And this was years ago. So it's fascinating that he would come and show up to me. Right. I was like, wow, I was honored. But I don't put anybody above me, Ishmael. I'm kind of funny. I don't think anybody's above or below me or my guru, but I don't think they're below me either. So how do you feel about that? Do you think there's levels, or if we all really learn our true selves and really come into ourselves, do you think it all gets sort of equaled out? What do you think?
Well, nobody's above anybody. We are all equal in the eyes of the one creator, prime creator source. In fact, we're all in expressions of the one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as I explained in some of my earlier interviews, every single one of us is the God source. It's a fragment of the God source,
Mm-hmm.
and in that sense, we're all one. So basically, what is the only thing that is above us is just our holy divine Christ over self, which is the holy I am presence. Once merge with the holy I am presence, we become like the Christ. And what I mean by that is we begin to access levels of consciousness that is all inclusive to all living things in the cosmos, where we begin to see ourselves as a cell, but yet at the same time as part of the collective and one with everything that is. And that's what I mean by accessing cosmic consciousness, which is what we call Christ consciousness. And we do that through, through simple I guess simple ways of seeing things as one and the same, unity consciousness, brotherhood and sisterhood, balance, harmony. We incorporate all those concepts and we live them. And that's how we do that. But yeah, no one's above anyone. There is in the spiritual community, in the galactic community, there is no hierarchies as far
Yeah.
as like, one person calling it the shots. That is Luciferian. That is what Lucifer and the fallen angels did, right? That is what the Cabal's been trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like a council where everybody could come together, and that is the true meaning of a democracy. It's a council when people come together, and really everything's really administrated by councils of elders. And what I mean by elders is these are like really advanced souls that use their gifts to better the greater whole. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in the greater scheme of things, we move back to that egalitarian system of equality, and where everyone is inclusive and everyone is as important as everyone else. There is no caste where it's like haves, have-nots, middle class, none of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. That makes sense. And in a way, North American indigenous people had things like that. Like there'd be a chief, but before the chief could change anything in the society, he'd have to go to the council. It was like a council of, and in particular, women. So
Yeah.
these elder women, and they were known as the Crow Society. Not all indigenous tribes had this, but this was fairly common in the indigenous North American tribes. They had the Crow Society, and the Crow Society. So crows in native indigenous mythology, and you probably know this, but they represent karma, karmic law, and the balance of the universe. So crow energy, it's different than how other cultures might see crows, and also the way they see ravens is different. But so the mythology says they go to the Crow Society and they have to check in, and the Crow Society intuitively checks in with 7 generations before and 7 generations forward to make sure that the new law or what they're trying to pass in the culture is going to be okay for the people.
Wow, that is fascinating because that's exactly how it works in the higher dimensions. Yeah.
Maybe they were onto it. Maybe they were connected that way.
Oh yeah, I've always believed that the Aboriginals of Australia, the natives, the Navajo, the Mayans, and all those cultures were more spiritually advanced than the Western world, because they were in tune with Mother Earth. They were in tune with the elements. They understood the significance of the sun
Mm-hmm.
as a symbol of the universal life force that gives us nourishment and all that stuff, and how that connects to God, which God is an energy source. It's not just exclusive to anyone. It is
Mhm.
within every living thing, and they understood that, and that's why I believe that they were more advanced than those that are part of the Western culture.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. Now, recently, and of course, we've all been talking about this. Truthers have all been talking about this, but the Queen, so supposed Queen of England, was announced to be passed over. Now, a lot of people know she passed over a long time ago, or at least we believe that. What are your feelings about that? Is it a marker, even galactically? I want to say, like it goes beyond just the Queen died, right? Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are around that.
Absolutely. So basically, her elimination marks the end of what is known as the Luciferian control of the planet.
Mm.
She was pretty much in terms of a beehive, she was like the queen bee of the cabal structure. She was even over the Pope and the Black Pope. Many people believe that the Jesuit Supreme General was the beehive, but no, it was ruled by the queen. And the reason being is because her body has been used as a host by the Draco for many, many years. And so, yes, the Alliance did take out the original queen about, I think, 2 years ago. But again, the cabal through the AI system, they always create clones, and that's how they kept the false image of her still being alive. It was just a clone. And so that clone was also used as a host to draconian energies. And get this, Janine, she was the reason why over 800,000 children were missing annually. 800,000 children. She was at the top of this child sacrificing, torturing of children, sexual predating of children, and of course the satanic rituals that took place to sacrifice them to Belial Baal, which is Marduk, the son of Enki, and we could get into that a little after. Moloch, which is another powerful demon that the Cabal have been sacrificing children to.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the other person is Moloch, Baphomet. Yes, so
Mm-hmm.
those were the
Yeah.
three demonic forces that have been in control, and the Queen, you could say, was their main instrument for the
Mm-hmm.
harvesting of all this androchrome and all this solutions that they inflicted for many years since her reign, of course. So yeah, she was known to be the most wicked, representative of the Luciferian energy on the planet.
Wow. Okay, that just makes so much sense to what we've been hearing from so many different people. Like Megan Rose got on and she had a real emotional feeling towards the Queen leaving, and yeah, she had a huge reaction to it, and it was all about the children for her. So that makes a lot of sense. I knew she was connected, but I actually thought the Black Pope might be ahead of her. But that's interesting that you are putting that in perspective for me. So this is a huge marker then. And it's interesting that they had her apparently passing over or dying or whatever at Balmoral, right?
Oh yeah.
Castle. Yeah. So in Scotland, and that castle's long been known to be the hunting castle. Okay. So they probably had a lot of those hunts where they'd release children and the elites would hunt them at that castle. Yeah. So it's interesting that how do you feel about maybe the White Hats being in control of this whole appearance of her dying right now?
I feel that that is absolutely correct. This gave them the opportunity to bring down the rest of the clones because that's what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with just a bunch of clones because they're all being generated by AI. Because, at the end, we are fighting a war against artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that war is not going to take place for another 1,000 years. We're at least going to have 1,000 years of peace due to the solar flash that is going to destroy
Right.
the AI signal
Okay.
and AI infrastructure. So we're not heading into a smart world, Internet of Things, as many people believe. With the rise of what they call the Great Reset. That's all been aborted by
Okay.
the yeah.
I'm happy about that actually, because I wasn't looking forward to that. I didn't like the sounds of it. But I like the sounds of 1,000 years of peace just to regroup. So we'll be ready for these guys
Absolutely.
when we got it, because I'll be back here working it. I just know it.
Oh no, yeah, you are. When we transform into our new galactic bodies, Janine, you're going to be like a goddess. You're going to have amazing abilities.
Love it.
So we're all going to be like
Yeah.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Millennium.
Yeah. Awesome. I'll be ready for them. I'll tell you that. And I think 1,000 years of peace is necessary after everything we discover, like as we've been, discovering all of these layers of things that have been going on. Our whole world's completely collapsed. what we thought was true, we've discovered hasn't been. A lot of people are finding that really difficult. Myself, I must have known somewhere deep inside all along, because it feels really easy to throw away. I never listened in school, and I never believed any history anyway. And I don't read books much. Maybe lately I'll start reading people like yourselves books, and there's various different books, but history books and books written by sort of what's been the norm out there, I just never felt drawn to reading, because I just knew they were all BS.
Absolutely, I agree with you. That's why I was bored in school. For the most part, I
I
would sit
bet.
back in class and daydream and have visions, and so they
Yeah.
would label me autistic because I was spacing off into
Yeah.
space, but really I was just having visions.
Oh yeah, I was spacing off too, but I was very social and chatty. So they put me in the category of like basically a troublemaker. I ended up in remedial classes, so like kind of a dummy. They thought I was just putting wasn't bullied, and that's unfortunate that you were, but I am experiencing it now. But I'm learning, whatever, like, let them to it. I'm not going to take them personally. uh, so let us know what you think now going forward the solar flare or flash is going to look like. You brought that up just a few minutes ago, and a lot of people are concerned it could even happen on the 24th. There's all these dates sometime before the 30th of September. This is the latest. How are you feeling about that and timing, and do you want to share your thoughts on that?
Sure. So it could happen this month, just because of the fact that the Schumann resonance is no longer able to record the CMEs that are coming in. So the CMEs that have been coming in the last few months have been record-breaking. X-class, M-class CMEs. We haven't seen CMEs like this for like over 12,000 years, which means that we're really getting close to that final release of the sun that is going to pretty much destroy the wicked and eliminate all that is evil and upgrade the righteous into this new heaven on earth that has been prophesied about. So yeah, it's best to be prepared in the event that it does happen this month. And from what I see is because of what's going on with the war against evil, the spiritual warfare, it needs to happen sooner than later. Because
Yeah.
we're already, humans on the earth have already dealt with the law. We've already suffered enough. The time has come, for our liberation. And so that's why I strongly think that it's going to happen very soon. Very soon. It has to. Now, in the event that it doesn't happen this month, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to happen. It's going to still happen. I mean, I predicted in my book by no later than 2024. So
Yeah.
I'm always going to stick to my original vision.
Yeah. Now, when you say prepared, what are your vision of being prepared? How would you prepare, and how would you advise others to prepare?
You have to stay grounded. It's best to give at least 20 to 30 minutes a day, whether it is through meditation or devotion, and connect with the higher power, which is, really what it is. It's your divine essence, which is the part of divine source that is you. So the more we connect with that aspect of ourselves, the more secured we're going to be in the ascension. Those that are going to have it very hard to undergo the transformation of the ascension are those that are still living in stress, anxiety, and of course, those that are still struggling with depression and their mind is scattered, and that's why I always tell people, try to put all your focus and be mindful in everything that you do, because by putting your mind and your attention into the eternal now, you're actually co-creating your version of heaven of earth, by putting the focus on the things that you like. Don't give in to the negative propaganda of fear. A lot of that stuff is designed to kind of throw us off of our path. But
Yeah.
it's best to just be mindful of what you want and put all your focus on the things that you want to manifest, because that's how we're creating this new heaven on earth. And ultimately, when the solar flash takes place, you're going to be experiencing where all of your focus and emotional attention is going to. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
for the most part, like wherever you put your focus, uh, wherever your emotional state of mind is, you're creating the vibration that's going to match once the shift takes place. You're going to have an equal match to whatever it is that you feel and whatever it is that you think, for the most part.
Hmm. Now, I just want to add for people, some people write to me and they say, well, I can't meditate, or I'm not attracted to meditating, and they don't understand grounding. And the real simple way to describe it, I personally don't technically meditate, but what I do is get into a zone that is beyond thought, right? That's what I call it. So some people might call that meditation. And I do it through music that I love, uplifting music, and or through dance. So put on really good music and dance around the house, or do something ritualistic. That you said, a dedication. So that's interesting. So dedicated, like cleaning the house. So that's a chore. So it's a physical chore, but it leads to, so I do it in a ritual way that is, so I'm redoing all my altars. I'm recreating and touching everything around my home to reignite it with my personal loving energy. So that's how I do it. So some people may not like meditation, literally where you're just quietly sitting in a meditative stance or whatever. That may not appeal to everybody, but I like to remind people meditation is through getting out of mind into heart, soul. Would you agree with
Perfect.
that? Or yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's different modalities to get into that zone: music, dance, Tai Chi, yoga.
Yep.
Some people, reach that zone when they're working out,
Yep.
so it all depends on, yeah, it all depends on the individual. You don't necessarily have to sit there and close your eyes and, try to
Yep.
meditate for 30 minutes.
Yep.
There's different forms of getting you into that relaxed state of mind. And that's what I mean, in preparing
Yep.
for the shift and the great solar flashes. Try to maintain that steady mind of just being calm at all times,
Mhm.
because that's going to make the ascension process a lot
Yep.
easier when your body transforms.
Yeah. So hoarding toilet paper and food supplies and stuff, that's not, you're not recommending it.
Um,
That's it.
no, that's scarcity mentality, because once we transform in the fifth dimension, we won't need any of that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I've been talking about you should keep a couple of weeks store on hand, because it feels like there's going to be these false flags coming, etc. How do you feel about false flags? Do you think this is coming instead, or are there also going to be human, like created, maybe false flags coming that'll disrupt things like internet, like or is all of that just fear porn?
I think it's fear porn. I think that the only thing that's going to disrupt the internet is the EBS. Why that's decided to reveal the truth to the masses. I think that's the only thing that we're ultimately going to be experiencing very soon.
Okay.
Ever since the thing was taken out, things have leveled up. There was a sense of relief. The planet even felt it. Some people believed there was some sort of colorful rainbow over the palace when it happened. They saw this beautiful light as an indicator that things are now getting better over here. Now that the green is gone. So I believe that, we don't have anything to worry about. The financial system is rolled in. Not to mention she was in charge of the banking system. She was also the protector of the Vatican's treasures. And
Mm.
she was the reason why, I don't know if you ever heard of maritime admiral time.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, okay. So she was the one that was holding that together. So now that she's gone, yeah, we're no longer slaves with Social Security and all that
Yeah.
stuff with our birth certificate that made
Yeah.
us punch a number in the system.
Yeah.
It's all eliminated now.
It's
We're
interesting. I felt it right away when the day it was announced. I felt a joy. I felt really joyful all day. And I also have been feeling braver lately about things like I don't feel enslaved by taxes. I don't feel enslaved by, and I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not giving anybody else advice. I'm just personally saying I personally don't feel in any way enslaved by systems. Like I have no fear. Like they can just whatever their stupidity is. I don't comply, and I'm not feeling at all connected to it. All those systems.
That's awesome. That means you broke away from the matrix.
Yay! That
Well,
feels good.
yeah,
Yeah,
all that system is coming to collapse anyways. The
I know.
IRS, it's
Yeah,
not going to exist anymore.
yeah. Wow. Well, I want to keep this short and sweet. I'm putting this on my quick chat, so we're going to keep it short and sweet. And I really hope to be able to connect with you now that I got a platform again. I missed you a couple times there, and I really apologize for that because I know my audience probably really missed you too. So thank you so much for coming on. Do you have some parting words for us as we go into this phase, this ramping up phase, I call it?
Just, I just wanted to, I guess, point out that there was an attempt to infiltrate the Galactic Federation by Enki.
Mm.
Enki was using women, abducting women for the last 10 months
Yeah.
in order to harvest their DNA so that he can use that to access the fleets of the Galactic Federation and infiltrate them. But I am also been told that the Federation is also on that, and they're not going to allow him to fully infiltrate the Federation. Although he is back, and and he is actually building an army of drones by admixing it with galactic DNA extracted from our own humans, females rather, and also mixing it with cybernetic AI DNA, Draco DNA, and something else to create their own version of this super race, which I believe is going to cause the war at the end of the 1,000 years. I believe that that's the army that we're going to be fighting, that the army that Enki is building. So I just wanted to let everyone know that he has returned, and he's been trying to thwart things for the White Hats, but it's not going to work because of the fact that this Earth is the most important planet in the multiverse. Mm-hmm. So I just give a warning to all the women out there. If you see a metallic silver ship or a bronze silver ship cylindrical, those are the motherships that are working with Enki, and all they want to do is harvest your DNA. Do not consent to the abduction at all, because from what I understand is he abducted thousands of women already.
Wow.
He's been harvesting their genetics.
That's unbelievable. I feel like it was put on hold somehow because we've got a hold, or if even the DNA that they've collected, somehow they're just going to hold it for future use. So that would make sense to the shelving it for the 1,000 years or whatever. So in the meantime, we're going to have to come up with ways to empower ourselves so we don't get used that way. Like you mentioned, but also there might be a way in the 1,000 years that we can disarm or go back in there. I hope there's a way we can take that back or whatever. Do you think there's a way we could do that?
Well, I believe that we win that war. I don't know if we take it back, because he is building a drone army of using Enki Anunnaki genetics with galactic genetics and AI genetics to create some sort of a species, a cybernetic species that could just literally just take over worlds and suck the soul out of life, suck the life force out of species, including humans. And so I think that at the end of the millennium, that's what the Bible refers to as the last war. But it's already taking place in the future, and of course we do win. And what I mean by we do win is that that's going to give us 1,000 years to access levels of power naturally, without merging with technology. That is going to give us the upper hand in the destruction of this army that he's currently building right now. So,
wow. Okay, well, that's a good heads up, though, because I can start focusing my intention on, protecting the women that get approached.
Exactly.
I'm going to be sending them all my protection, that's for sure. So, good. Thank you for the heads up.
You're welcome. So anybody promoting Enki is part of that false light, and just be aware.
Okay.
Has been compromised. Anyone that's promoting Enki has been compromised.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you so much. Any other parting words for us?
Yes. Stay healthy. Don't forget to drink a lot of water. And most importantly, love yourself. And don't care about what other people think.
Yeah. Awesome. No wonder I like you, because you're saying exactly what I always say.
Oh, really?
Those are like exactly things that I would say were up foremost for everybody right now. Learning to love themselves. We become a lot more compassionate when we love ourselves. It's really hard to be compassionate and loving to others if you haven't figured that one out yet. So thank you for saying that. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks again, Ismael. And we'll say goodbye for today.
Thank you, Janine. You have a wonderful day.
You too.